Richthofen's grand scheme. Several days later, Ultimus traveled to the Rising Sun facility where an outbreak occurred. In the facility, Ultimus discovered the corpse of Peter McCain, who died during a parachute incident after being ordered by Cornelius Purnell to rendezvous at the facility. Ultimus Richtofen also recovered his diary, which contained his research notes concerning element 115, and began to formulate a plan to defeat Samantha. A week later, Ultimus returned to Der Riese, where Ultimus Richtofen planned to use the teleporter to return to the moon and confront Samantha. However, the Wunderwaffe DG-2 overloaded the teleporter and sent Ultimus to the Kino facility in 1963, causing Ultimus Richtofen to drop his diary, which was later recovered by the Soviet Union. This marked the first time Ultimus traveled across space and time and resulted in temporal rifts occurring across dimensions. In light of these developments, Monty felt obligated to step in and began to make changes in the background across time. He helped Group 935 invent perk machines. He also added chalk drawings to the walls. When Ultimus arrived at the Kino facility on October 28, 1963, they located a lunar lander and flew to the Ascension facility. In the weeks prior to Ultimus's arrival at the Ascension facility, a Russian scientist from the Ascension group named Yuri Zavoysky became corrupted by Samantha's voice after reading Ultimus Richtofen's diary. Yuri tricked his colleague, Dr. Anton Gersh, into activating a Gersh device. The rift created allowed Samantha to travel through. It also absorbed Gersh, destroying his body and trapped him inside the Casimir mechanism. Yuri was also absorbed and transported to the Pentagon. When Ultimus arrived at the Ascension facility on November 6, 1963, they found the outbreak had occurred, and Gersh begged them to free him from the Casimir mechanism. At the same time in the Pentagon, John F. Kennedy, Robert McNamara, Fidel Castro, and Richard Nixon were discussing a future alliance between the United States and Cuba to fight Samantha when an outbreak occurred inside the building. Yuri, who was responsible for a prior outbreak in the Pentagon, was sent by Samantha to thwart their survival. After Ultimus freed Gersh from the Casimir mechanism, he sent them to their next destination before beginning his travels across space and time. With the departure of Ultimus from the Cosmodrome, both outbreaks were contained and Yuri was arrested. Ultimus arrived in a locked room at the Siberian facility on March 17, 2011, where George A. Romero, who had stumbled upon Group 935's research, was making a movie with Sarah Michelle Gellar, Robert Englund, Danny Trejo, and Michael Rooker. An outbreak soon occurred, and George Romero was turned into a zombie. The actors recovered the Vril device for Ultimus, who were then teleported to their next destination. The fate of the cast and crew remained unknown, but 6 weeks later, Romero's assistant, Sally, was teleported to Shangri-La and trapped inside a time loop while looking through Romero's research about Group 935. As they continued their journey, Ultimus arrived at Shangri-La on April 25, 1956. With the help of 2 explorers trapped inside the time loop, Brock and Gary, Ultimus acquired the focusing stone. Now in possession of the Vril device and the focusing stone, Ultimus Richtofen was ready to return to the moon. Ultimus Dempsey, however, fired the 3179 JGB-215 while inside the teleporter. This caused Ultimus to travel to the Pentagon before the November 6th outbreak had occurred. Meanwhile, Yuri was sent by Samantha to release the zombies kept in the Pentagon before being sent to November 6th. Once in the Pentagon, Ultimus traveled to Groom Lake, Nevada, where they used the teleporter to reach the moon. Once inside Griffin Station on October 13, 2025, Ultimus reactivated the MPD, which revealed Samantha as she was when she entered the device back in 1945. Ultimus Richtofen then used a terminal to power up the Vril device and merged it with the focusing stone. However, he encountered Maxis inside the terminal, who tried to stop him. However, Ultimus Richtofen was able to complete his grand scheme and switched his soul with that of Samantha's, gaining full control of the ether while Samantha was trapped inside Richtofen's body. Ultimus Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takeo then decided to help the disembodied AI Maxis stop Ultimus Richtofen. They launched 3 missiles at the Earth in order to sever the link between the Earth and the ether. However, the calculations were made in haste, causing catastrophic destruction to the Earth. Meanwhile, in 2035, Victus was able to activate all three polarization devices in Maxis's favor. Maxis, now corrupted by the dark ether, returned to the moon in 2025 and plucked Samantha from Richtofen's body to join him in Agartha before destroying the Earth and all its inhabitants. As a last bit of revenge, Maxis trapped Ultimus Richtofen's soul in a zombie, creating undead Richtofen, leaving his body in a catatonic state. Ultimus Dempsey, Takeo, Nikolai, and Richtofen's catatonic body were then accidentally teleported back to Groom Lake on August 3, 1963, where they were captured by Pernal and kept in Hangar 4 to be experimented on. Several months later, on October 13th, undead Richtofen stepped out of a portal from the empty Earth and remerged his soul with Ultimus Richtofen's body, waking him from his coma. Sometime later, Primus teleported inside Hangar 4, where they freed and met with their Ultimus selves. Nikolai, now assuming the role of leader of the group, revealed to Ultimus there will be a war to be fought, a great war, before teleporting away from the hangar.